Good afternoon, friends. Apologies for my lateness. I've had to come from downstairs all the way upstairs, and I'm basically a Dalek. Stairs don't like me. It's Snoogans here, and I am with...
Hazard.
Joyous. You join us for, I believe it's our first MRDA-aligned game of the day between Manchester's Royal Derby Chaos Engine and Wirral Pack Animals, who have taken the lead 10-0. I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I'll try not to gasp on the mic, even if it's some weird, creepy ASMR kind of thing.
So there is 2-2-0-8 for the Pack Animals up to jam against 3-7 for Manchester. Apologies for no names, do not have the roster yet.
Looks like that is Scotty Comet and Matty for Wirral and Manchester respectively. Scotty Comet picking up lead. Both jammers having had a rather fantastic season, but Scotty coming out victorious this time round. Matty is out of the pack, but Scotty calls the jam with Matty just about 10, maybe 15 feet away from the pack, denied any points.
That does push the Wirral Pack Animals up to 14. So far holding Manchester scoreless for the first three jams.
Okay, just having ourselves a brief timeout. Looks like we are going to be getting up with Bankai for Wirral and Sailor Moob for Manchester as we get started back up in just a few moments. I believe it is a team timeout. Can't see our... I can just about see our jam time. We are in the balcony. So we are viewing this from a screen.
We have in this first three jams already had a jammer penalty. 817 Manchester took a penalty in the first jam.
Looks like it is an official timeout as we are shuffling towards minute 2. I know we have had some technical difficulties, but it looks like this is, I want to say paperwork, but it looks like we do have electronic kit this weekend, which is fantastic. Have you done? Do you do any officiating yourself, Haz?
Not overly, but I do know of it. A lot of folk in Scotland are using it at the minute. So Sam Skipsey and Greg Skimbles do get a lot of it there. So we did have it at Chaos, and it was wonderful. Chaos.
Fantastic! Yeah. I've heard a lot of great things about the Chaos event.
That's fabulous. Apart from I broke my skate, but other than that,
no. But yeah, I've used the electronic equipment quite a bit myself, and trialled some new beta software last weekend officiating for some MRDA teams. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting.
It helps. It really does help, especially if you're wanting to see the stats live.
Yes.
And know that, for example, Wirral have league now.
Yes, absolutely beautiful. Sailor Moob is at the pack. Big hit there from Chemical. Alchemy, even my mistake. Just the words didn't quite make it in the right order. Yeah. Bankai up on another scoring pass. One blocker left to pass there, and he does. Sailor Move now with star in hand.
That last pass for Wirral made it a 16-point jam that we're on for them.
Very nice. We have had a star pass. Salt and Pepper now in possession of the star for Chaos Engine.
First one of the game so far.
That's another scoring pass for Bankai. 20-point jam so far. Bankai has taken a bit of time out of roll derbies, recently returned earlier this year, and sickeningly it seems that he hasn't lost any of his skating ability. I know he skates recreationally. At the risk of sounding one of those people, like, we're friends, name drop. But yeah, he skates recreationally. Some crazy sick moves, and I'm definitely down with the kids. He is on a power jam now as well, as he moves into 24-point jam.
24-point jam, and that brings them up to, what are we now, 38 and scoreless to Manchester. That was phenomenal.
Wow.
It could have been more though. Manchester were definitely working on containing there. It was
definitely
not easy points. Even though he made it look like it, but it was not.
Yeah, it was a case of sort of, as he got out of the pack, it's like looked really smooth, very nice, but definitely there was some really great defensive work. It looks like we're going to have a jammer switch, penalty being called straight off the bat for number 69.
U-turn, it looks like.
U-turn, thank you. There we go. The font is quite small on our screens. Apparently I may need to go back to the optician sooner than I had anticipated.
Great defensive work from Wirral at the front, but U-turn is back. That penalty seems to have been rescinded.
No, so that's going to be because obviously Salt and Pepper in the box from the previous jam, and obviously our jammers work in pairs.
Switcheroo.
Yeah, so where U-turn had headed into the box to take a seat, he was only going to serve the same amount of time that Salt and Pepper had already served, and she hadn't sat very long before the jam ended.
And then we will have another star pass from Salt and Pepper to, that looks like...
Take that.
So this will be a 2-minute jam.
It will indeed. Take that indeed.
Who are now out and looks to be scoring the first points for Manchester. Well done.
Fantastic stuff. Points all round for both teams.
30 odd seconds left. See what else we can get on the board.
Nice hit there from Jamie Rogers and a recycle of Take That. I should imagine that they will have already pocketed some points with hips passed and such as we move into the last 10 seconds or so of the jam.
That is U-turn coming back around the apex. Maybe a couple more before the whistles go. Possibly.
Yeah, and that's going to be the full 4 on that final pass for both teams, it looks like.
That'll be the second biggest jam for Wirral, 20 points, bringing them up to 58. And it looks like we have an official time out.
Looks like we've got our skating officials huddled in the middle. Could be discussing any number of things. Not our job to speculate, of course, but if there is something that does need to be passed up to us, or that's something that we need to share with yourselves, it will be fed over to our in-house announcers, and by the wonders of technology, they will let us know what it is, and we can let you know. And by wonders of technology, I mean Discord. Not too wondrous, but it's working for us. we do hope that you are enjoying the action so far. We're having a pretty darn good time here in Stoke-on-Trent. Thankfully, comparative to last year, it's definitely not too warm. It's the regular level of warm in a roller derby venue, especially when you get a load of bodies in there, but it's definitely not hottest weekend of the year warm as it was in Sheffield last September.
Oh yes, that looked hot from the stream. It
was
hot.
horrendous. Like, great weekend, but no, just no.
I think that is us back on. U-turn seems to have been issued a back block penalty from that discussion and is starting in the box. So Manchester are coming through hot there.
Mobius Trip, your soul jammer on track. Big hit there. Beautiful work from Voodoo with a recycle. Mobius Trip straightens themselves on track. Looking to be passing, I believe that's Gig, and possibly Voodoo has reset themselves back on track. And again with the recycle and a full-blown penalty kill by Pack Animals. U-turn is back on track.
And got lead straight away from the box. Manchester's Mobius did not manage to acquire that before they came back from the box.
And Mobius Trip now headed to the box themselves for a cut penalty. That is not the outcome you want from starting from a power jam.
No, it's probably the least welcome outcome.
Suboptimal. U-turn looks happy though.
Very, I would be for that. Coming from the box, that is the best outcome you could have.
All I can hear in my head is the very corny U-turn that about. I'm not proud of it. I just, when you get something in your head, you just have to say it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It'd be even better if you had a button like the radio stations that was like, U-turn!
Yes! So we're going to put in a request with real-time events next year for...
soundboard.
yeah, just a particularly punny name soundboard. We'll work with them in the run-up to the event for teams that are going to be there and just... so if you'd like to fund that, but yeah, so we are into another jam. I will pretend that I'm not dreaming of really weird harebrained schemes, or at least I won't share them with you anymore. Mobius Trip is out of the box. Bankai is your lead jammer, and his sights are locked and loaded on those points.
And a quick call to shut down Manchester before any points can come their way. That is another 4 for Pack Animals. I actually stayed in Wirral last night.
Oh, very nice.
My friend who lives there.
Nice time?
It was lovely. We went to the pier, the promenade, I believe it's called.
Oh, the promenade. See, I can make it sound like I know what I'm talking about.
That's number 37 for Manchester out with lead, with Gig, with the star on chasing right after.
Gig with a skip and a jump over a down skater. What's the points going to look like after that? Gig with the full 4. Matty unable to bag anything.
And that makes it up to 70 points for Wirral. Still 8 to Manchester.
And we're all going to start with one blocker in the box as Alchemy picked up a penalty right at the end of that jam.
We do have a timeout. I believe we are looking at possibly an official review called by Manchester. There is a Manchester bench crew member in the middle of the track, so I'm thinking that might be what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
So this game is a bit of a biggie. This is for promotion/demotion. The winner of this game will move or stay in Tier 2. Tier 2 MRDA aligned 5 nations, and the second place team will move or stay in Tier 3. So as things currently stand, Wirral are in Tier 3 and Chaos Engine are in Tier 2. Both teams have had, Wirral have had, from what I understand, a pretty impressive year. This is their first year in Five Nations. They had, I believe, I'm not entirely sure whether they had folded or if they'd been on hiatus. I don't think they'd fully made it back post-pandemic.
I think the WFTDA aligned Wirral team were still active, but the pack animals maybe took a little bit longer to come back.
Yeah.
Still in the background, I think, but not quite full capacity as we see them now.
Yeah, very much. So to see them re-enter Five Nations this year and to really kind of take things by storm has been absolutely fantastic. And to see that, and to see actually a lot of previously sort of quite retired skaters from various teams in that kind of part of the country, sort of almost doing sort of like a movie-esque kind of gonna come out of retirement for one more job, coming back and really finding their feet again has been a real joy. Chaos Engine have had a variable year in Tier 2. My team, Super Smash Brawlers, we were in Tier 2. It's been a tough season, a very competitive season. Brummies have absolutely stormed it, very much deserved promotion to Tier 1. And yeah, it's been a very hard fought season. Chaos have played some really fantastic games. And yeah, it's really interesting to see what's going to happen and how things are going to play out. So it's exciting to see a promotion-demotion game here at playoffs.
It definitely is. And again, that is Wirral taking that lead. Scotty Comet again. Jammer for Manchester, Frank Intense. Not seen them with a star yet, but they're certainly going.
Yeah, I recognise Frank from earlier in the season. Frank, you will always recognise by the red shorts. They are somewhat trademark. Coming around, and Scotty there.
Just denying those points.
Yeah.
But that was probably the closest we've had in the jams so far.
Really sort of smart pack awareness, sort of spatial awareness there by Frank as well. Doing the turn, sort of like and sort of entering the pack, sort of butt first, for want of a better phrase, to try and maximise that opportunity to get the points, because obviously it's the hips that count. So yeah, that great awareness, seeing that from skaters, because sometimes you see people just kind of like leaning in and going kind of head first. It's like that's not going to get you anything. So yeah,
could have just snuck that extra point in to close that difference.
Exactly.
Successful. I think we've got a team timeout from.
I believe that's for Wirral. I'm going to make an assumption, considering we've still got a bunch of Chaos Engine on the track. It's like, what are you doing, pals? Your team's on the bench. Go home. But everyone's smiling. Looks like they're having a good time.
It does.
Which is always nice.
And that is really why we're here.
Yes.
And the roller derby is just an extra on top. Number 7 for Wirral up there, Heavy Kevy, and number 37 for Manchester, that looks like Matty.
It's my number twin. 37. And it looks like we're shifting into an official timeout. But only brief.
Most likely track repair or something fun. There we go. Looks like all officials are back in place. 5 seconds is being called. Back on. And that is Wirral with a cut. Not gaining lead, so that is number 7 in the box. Maybe Kevy, wait for a sit down.
Matty was looking for the outside, but taken off and recycled.
Make use of this power jam.
Matty looking for the space again. You can see, like just when he's given just a little bit of breathing room, he's got the space for his footwork and just really kind of comes into his element.
And I think that's a back block on a heavy. We are not doing so hot with that. Good for Manchester though, might give them a chance to get a decent amount of points on the board with a double power jam. Although that is Gig holding up front there.
So that's 4 on the board for Matty, double digits for Chaos Engine at this halfway point of our first half.
There's been a lot of delays today, so there's maybe a little bit of kind of warming up to do mentally for some of the teams, which they are certainly coming into their own now. That is another 4 points for Manchester.
We're all looking a little bit kind of separated, not quite as together as they have been.
Matty through for those 4.
Heavy back on track, but that's just the initial. We've got 8 seconds left of the jam. He's really going to have to put on the speed to try and get anything there. Oh.
That will be a cut for Matty, assessed right at the end of that jam, so Wirral will start with a power jam.
Matty did manage to grab 1 point before picking up that cut. So that'll be a 13-point jam, and that's the highest scoring jam for Chaos Engine so far. 14.5 minutes remaining of the half. That sits us at 21 points to Chaos Engine and 74 points to the Pack Animals.
Scotty Comet up again as jammer and through before I even finish my sentence. Definitely capitalising on this power jam. We'll be looking for some offense just to hold a couple people back.
Brilliant takeoff there by Rolling for Soup.
Great name.
I have asked him before whether he was rolling to gain Soup or rolling on behalf of Soup. Rolling to gain Soup.
That's a fair. Yeah. That's fair.
But that's my fun Rolling for Soup fact. Yeah.
Mobius trip up again for Manchester. And Bankai, I believe, there for Wirral. Bankai founding the inside line, the door, so to speak, just ajar, and managing to slip through with relative ease to pick up lead. However, Mobius Trip making a relatively quick pass as well for his initial. Bankai really kind of locked in. Of course, as I say, he's locked in, he gets through. It's the curse of the announcer. Bit of a late call off though, so I think Manchester will be getting points on that pass as well. Definitely gaining a lot more momentum in the second half of the first half.
It's times like that I feel that maybe sort of like American football terminology would be better. It's like the second quarter. Let's just split the game into 4 quarters, it's fine. But at the same time, people have enough trouble understanding this game as it is, it's fine.
Make it as easy as we can.
Yeah.
But that is 69 U-turn out again for lead. And Keith Rampart's doing a bit of offensive jamming.
We love to see it.
And unfortunately gaining a penalty for their troubles. So far it seems that we've got a little bit of jammer penalty trouble for Manchester.
Interestingly, it was a high block. Oh, U-turn with a bit of an apex jump there.
Eight on the board there for Wirral, it looks like. Up to 86, still on 24 for Manchester. Manchester do have 5 jammer penalties in total to Wirral's 3. which is probably helping them just keep that lead a little
Absolutely.
bit. 817 will start in the box. That is so bad. The name's Keith Rampart starting in the box. Scotty on again for the Wirral. It's the fourth. Oh, I was going to say it was going to be the fourth lead for Wirral, but that is a cut track assessed on Scotty Comet. So we'll see Keith come back on.
And that's going to be a deep reset there from the Wirral pack. Really stretching out that pack, the wall. And yeah, Keith just clipped off by that final blocker.
Must have just been toe stop and no more. So we'll have a jammer switcheroo, no lead called for either of them. So 2-minute jam. With 1 minute left on the clock for this jam. We'll see what damage the teams can put up.
Really great control there from Scotty Comet on the outside. That was some solid contact from Soup.
And see our Wirral blocker go off. Making it a little bit easier for Keith to get through there on what I believe would be his initial pass still.
I think you might be right.
But Wirral are coming back through to score. A little bit of offensive play going on in the pack.
Alchemy just going in and just wrecking it up.
Some phenomenal lateral footwork from Take That there. He's being drawn quite far back there. 3 points for Manchester, it looks like. Bringing them up to 27, 12 for Wirral, approaching the 100-point mark at 98. I think in the next couple jams, maybe see them breach over there, unless Manchester have other things that they want to do.
Just going to lock it down.
Bankai up again for the Wirral. 37 again for Manchester. That's Matty.
Bankai clipped off there. Ewaki Horror with a big hit, but Bankai does manage to break through and pick up lead. Matty, I was going to say, Matty just to kind of like tumble his way through the pack. Picks up a cut, followed up by an illegal procedure penalty.
So that's 2 for 1.
Yeah, didn't leave the track at the earliest opportunity after getting that penalty, so that's going to be a full minute for Matty.
And that's Bankai just sliding through casually by the seaside. No harm here.
Just a nice day along the promenade. Oh! Bankai looked to bank some air miles, but denied.
Really just out. It was a beautiful jump though.
It was very nice.
Not that it really slowed them down that much now that they're through again. Previous best scoring jam by himself is 24, so possibly trying to beat his record for this half.
Manchester having none of it.
No, they're definitely locking it down.
In particular, Nuke is Nuke taking on a Gandalf-like stance of "you shall not pass."
Holding those edges like nothing else. That does seem to be where Bankai is just creeping through.
Yes.
That's Matty back on, pushing at the front against 3 very strong blockers and through. But that's Bankai just hopping through right again.
Hadn't even clocked that he was through on a scoring pass, and he just
came back round.
Yeah.
So another 20-point jam for the Wirral. Well over that 100 mark now, 118. they do seem to be having a fair bit of penalty trouble now, so let's hope for their sake that can calm down a little bit. We've got a fresh jammer on for Wirral now, number 12, Giggs. I don't think he's... Okay, I started before, my apologies. Second jam for Giggs.
Yeah, Giggs' lead, but Mobius Trip is out, and he's laying on those crossovers.
Hovering around the track behind each other. See if they're maybe going to run it a bit, since they are both now through full scoring point. Scoring passes.
Yeah.
I could use my words.
We're all now with 2 blockers in the box as well, so I was curious whether Gig was going to choose to call the jam after a scoring pass there, or if he was going to look to run it and try and empty the penalty box. He's called it, which means we're all going to start on a pack disadvantage, 2 blockers to 4. This could work in favour for Take That. May mean an easier start, but that's my mistake. My mistake. 1 blocker in the box doesn't make a blind bit of difference.
U-turn out again. 4 lead for the Wirral. The speed that these skaters are coming around the track, though, absolutely no bother to them. I'm calling it from the floor there, U-turn, after a little bit of a mishap on the apex jump. But we're just under 5 minutes for this half, though. And Wirral got a cheeky little point there for U-turn's troubles.
Just going to go for an official timeout, but we've got jammer buddies on the line, Scotty Comet and Matty, when we are ready to get going once more. Just give you a quick rundown of our officials for this game, the crew that we're looking at. We've got Gaston, Bane in the Ass, Otter Chaos, Errington, Denial, Esme Weatherwax, OU, Emma O, and Juggernaut, as well as Nat Safe for Work, Guinness, Make a Call, Strapping Young Beard, Cookie Dough, Dick Van Stripe, Max Payne, and Polly. Wonderful group of officials on and off track for this game, as well as the fantastic officials that we've got on the other track. What game we've got at the moment? I believe that's Newcastle Canny Belters up against Sheffield Steel Roller Derby. Looks like a relatively close game, 27 points to 12 in favour of Newcastle. They're quite early into the game, about 26 minutes remaining for half. As we get back into the action here.
Lead just getting called for Matty, the first for Manchester in
some
8
time.
jams?
Yes. Scotty is out as well. He is at the pack as also. Matty.
For Wirral there.
Just the 1 for Manchester.
But points are going on the board for them, so that is all good for them. Official review, it seems to.
Certainly.
Wirral seems to be the one calling it. Hopefully we'll get a little update on that very soon for you all. I do see a very sparkly announcer running to the middle to get some information for us.
We've got Tobiosaurus, as you can see him. Nope, sorry. Tobio Drift. It's a different name in the Discord chat. As you can see him there in his rather spiffing jacket and cowboy hat. He's typing away about what's going on, so we will be able to give you the inside scoop shortly. Also, we realised there may have been an official review earlier in the day, or in this game, which we missed, because we've been talking quite a lot. Chaos were requesting a point deduction from Wirral Jammer. I believe it was possibly in the first half. Official review lost, point stand. So you didn't really miss anything. Just
a break.
Yeah.
Break in the action.
Yeah.
Hopefully have... Oh, so they are looking for a low block on Nuke, so that is Wirral looking for a low block to be assessed on Nuke. Looks like that's officials coming back in to deliver their verdict, so we should hopefully update you with what that is very soon. We've got 3 minutes left on the clock. It's been not a very fast game so far. They've managed to keep that pace down quite a lot. See how the second half will go for that. Usually it does get a little bit scrappier. That's number 3 again for Wirral. Bankai, and then Frank and Tim's back with a star on their helmet for Manchester.
Just the confirmation from that official review. Official review lost, no call stands, and we continue with the half. Thank you, Tobio Drift.
I believe Bankai has picked up the lead.
Frank Intense looking to try and push that pack apart.
And they are now going to have a power jam, as I think Bankai there was assessed a cut. It's another chance for Manchester to start pulling up some points, which Frank seems like they are about to start doing once they get round the track.
And the plus side for Manchester with this being a power jam is that they can potentially go full offense, which is kind of what it looks like they're aiming for. They're definitely in place, or they're in a position where they're looking to try and maximise and try and break up those walls. Bankai is out of the box though, so he's looking to get back on track, and he's leaping
through the pack. I believe the Manchester pivot just back on track there, but I think we're about to get a penalty on Bankai again for a back block as he came up to that apex and into the Manchester pivot, who I cannot see their name nor number, so Manchester.
That's Soup.
Soup. Bold for penalty.
So nice little bit of offense there from Soup, just kind of almost sort of like shielding the opposing blockers with his body, like this way, come this way. And Frank did.
It did. And that's 5 for Manchester in that entire jam. 4 for Wirral so far, putting them at 130 to Manchester's 37.
Mobius trip up for this power jam start. 40 seconds left of the period clock, so we may well see this as the last jam of the half. Mobius trip round the outside, does pick up lead jammer. Bankai still in the box. And Bankai is out.
Out and down.
Bankai heading back to the penalty box for another back block. So I believe that's his 3rd consecutive penalty.
I believe so. Whereas the Manchester Jammers have managed to keep themselves out of the box for the past 4 jams, so very helpful.
Yeah, positive, mindful, demure. But yeah, it's. I know that this cluster isn't Bankai's first penalties of the game, so that this is going to be putting Bankai in a kind of a quote hot position penalty-wise. It's definitely going to be moving him into the danger zone. But that is half-time, friends. 43 points to Chaos Engine, 130 points to Pack Animals. We are going to take a break of about 9.5 minutes. We will see you back here with about 1.5 minutes to go, maybe a little bit less. But yeah, go grab a cup of tea or beverage of your choice, whatever you do in half-time. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye. Hello.
Hello.
We're back. So I believe, you've been doing some stats.
I have. So we have the Wirral sitting with 60% lead percentage, Manchester with 25% lead percentage, so that means there have been 6 jams with no lead called.
That's a lot.
Pretty big amount. We're looking at as well top scorers for Wirral, number 3. And for Manchester, looking at 37.
So that's Bankai and Matty. We've seen both of them on track an awful lot. Makes sense. Bankai with a 24-point jam?
Yeah, 20, 24, another 20. Lots of big scoring jams.
I mean, we should probably tell him that it's roller derby, not darts.
He's having a good time.
Yeah, he's living his best life. We hope that you're enjoying yourselves, that you're doing all of the things that watching roller derby at home entails. So, comfort, petting the dog, cat, rat,
pigeon,
dragon, Claudine. Yeah, we're also doing the comfort things.
Oh, yeah.
And we are mere seconds away from getting going. Everybody's on jam line and we're off.
And we've got Matty back on for Manchester and Scotty taking lead for the Wirral.
Matty with a little bit of offensive jamming there as Scotty comes back round with a scoring pass. Did manage to get him off, but it was a very quick reset.
Jam at that, under 30 seconds.
Damn.
That does look like the full 4 up for Wirral.
Do you know what? I'm going to call that a win for Chaos, with Matty getting out and forcing that call.
Definitely. I think if they can keep that score tighter in the second half, they'll at least be able to pull that differential down.
Yes.
And you never know, there might be a lead change.
I mean, if you can reduce, if you can hold the differential and get lead
over Bankai.
Yeah, which is a skillful move on its own. It's about shifting those blocks
and holding Bankai scoreless as well. Definitely a win.
Yeah.
For Manchester on that jam.
3-0.
There has been a lot of really kind of incredible blocking in these jams as well, and we've been talking a lot about the jammers as they're the ones that we see the most and can talk the most about, but the blockers have been strong, agile, and so aware of their surroundings, from offensive switches back to defence.
Incredibly so. We are on a power jam at the moment. Heavy Kevy picked up a low block, so Matty is in the his lead. He is now on a power jam. Gig is all up in his grill, but that is the out of play call has gone, so he's got to let him go. And the pack is long.
So long. can't really see it on the stream, but we can see it down below it. It was taking up the entire straight.
It's all about perspective.
Just caught themselves there. And I believe that is Heavy Kebby coming out.
Yeah. Coming out of his cage, and he's been doing just fine. Oh no.
Cheeky 2 for Manchester there. Again, holding Wirral scoreless. It's 2 jams now. Creeping up that score. I mean, they're under 100 points of a difference, and weirder things have happened. They could bring this all the way back.
Some teams are just a second half team. It's absolutely a thing.
Sailor back on for Manchester. Only saw them once in the first half, jamming. Fortunately not managing to get lead this time over Scotty. Frank intense up front, being very intense.
I can imagine like there's some really solid eye contact.
Sometimes that's all it takes to stop a jammer.
Yeah.
I've not mastered that yet, but one day. There's that star pass. Oh, start off, but no pass.
Stash perhaps.
Sailor Moop.
And there's the pass. Scotty Comet in the penalty box for a cut. So that may well be the best timed pass we've seen. Salt and Pepper pushing against that wall. Blockers have gone pretty offensive. In the strategic sense, of course. I'm sure they're very nice people.
Multiplayer assist. Black 8. That is Dan Haliter.
And Scotty Comet out of the penalty box, straight through the pack.
This will be a full 2-minute jam now that we've been in the box. Salt and Pepper still trying to push their way through. Those Wirral blockers, who are so solid.
It's very impressive. That's the jam.
No score there for Manchester, sadly.
Scotty Comet, 12 points on the board there. We've got Mobius Trip and Bankai on track.
Match-up, I think we've seen quite a lot, to be fair.
Absolutely.
We've got a very deep jammer rotation on both these teams.
Yes, it's really nice to see that we've got that sort of breadth for both of the teams. Especially as we've mentioned, like with Wirral sort of making their comeback this year, with Chaos being able to get that depth as what is essentially a B, like let's say essentially for all intents and purposes a B team to Manchester's New World Order. We did have ourselves a star pass, I believe.
It was nearly a star pass, or was it at the end?
Yeah, I think Gig was wearing the star.
Yes, you're right. We did have Manchester take lead in that and get 4 points on the board. That's 4 each.
Looks like looking for a team timeout for Manchester.
Your turn seems to be donning the star for Wirral. And we've got Jammer doing some yoga at the side there, getting ready for this next jam, using the timeout wisely.
I respect that.
of a child's pose, getting ready. Coming out of that timeout now, a little jammer fist bump on the line. That's what we like to see. And now we're in an official timeout. So far this half, Wirral have only gained the lead on one jam, which compared to the first half is not a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So like the scores are still very much looking obviously in favour of Wirral, but Manchester have really come out fighting in the second half. They're very much showing that they've kind of taken that half time, they've taken a breather, they've reset, and they've really come out looking like we're back in the game. We're still here to compete. We're still putting ourselves into this. And Matty there with a cheeky little hip check off the line. Doesn't manage to pay off for him as U-turn gets the lead, but Matty is already through, and that's much quicker than we've seen on some previous jams in the first half.
Definitely, it was taking them upwards of a minute to get out in the last half, so there was definitely some good pep talks happening in that changing room at half time for Manchester.
They've had their orange segments, dang it. And also forcing the call at a 0-0 jam. No points.
Definitely in more control now than they had been. 17 on the line, Frank intense, and Scotty again for the Wirral pack animal. And that's Nook, some beautiful shoulder work, holding their chest.
Yeah, Nuke is an absolute powerhouse. Solid blocker, really good blocker, great player to have in your arsenal.
They seem very aware as well. There's such really good awareness from them. They seem to know where everybody is at all times,
yes.
Which is hard to do.
A great communicator as well. Not like super loud, but like you can tell that the rest of the pack knows what they're saying. And as we saw a little bit on the on that first straightaway, Iwaki Hora was able to get into position and take over and do the recycling as well. And it's that great communication between the teams. Points for Wirral in that jam, not calling it quite quick enough to prevent Chaos from picking up anything, and two for them there. So like even when Wirral are picking up points, Chaos are managing to bag a little bit as well.
And with that, Manchester getting that lead. Mobius out. Got star pass, full star pass to Scott T. Dog from U-turn. That was fast. Manchester calling, holding them scoreless, picking up to themselves, which is exactly what they would want to be doing.
Big thank you on my behalf to Scotty Dog for my breakfast this morning. So a couple of weeks ago, my team, the Team Smash Brawlers, we went up to Wirral to play a closed door. Great afternoon, we really had a laugh. Was talking to Scott after the game, and he was like, "Oh, I'll see you at playoffs. You need to get yourselves an oatcake." And I was like, "Oh, I've never had one." And he was like, "Let me know what you want. I'll bring you one in." I totally forgot about it. He walks up to me while I'm announcing this morning. He's like, "I didn't know what you want, so I just got you my usual, his sausage and cheese oatcake." And I was like,
lovely.
Food of the gods.
Not only a phenomenal skater, but a phenomenal person.
Right.
So that is a gig with a star again for Wirral. First time in this half that they've started with a star, already picking up 4 points. Matty at the back there somewhere, can't quite see them on the stream. A little bit of being contained by a pack of Wirral pack animals, living up to their name. And just finding a little bit of room to breathe there, but getting caught right on that out by number 7. Is that Heavy Kevy?
It's Heavy Kevy.
And out they go with Gig on his way back round.
It's the recycle again by Voodoo.
Stringing the pack right out. And I believe, was Gig not part of Power of Scotland?
He was, many moons ago. Yeah, international superstar Gig. Yeah, but back in the day.
I would say any Scottish MRD aligning skaters, you could probably get in touch with Power of Scotland, see what's happening there.
Yeah.
No idea what is happening myself, but England men's are back, so why not us?
Yeah. I was over, did some officiating to help out with the tryouts a couple of weeks ago. Calibre of skater that went through there on that Sunday. Absolutely fantastic. It was a really good opportunity to just kind of see what's going on, and it's really exciting seeing all the national teams kind of coming back. I've seen that Wales have got their tryouts coming up as well. Super exciting. And of course we've got Women's World Cup confirmed for Austria next year.
It's coming up fast.
Yes, here before we know it.
So that is Take That for Manchester. Pushing up front there, but U-turn just, with a cut on that out, leaving that lead open for the taking, maybe to take that. But speaking of the World Cup, I'm actually the global chair of the Roller Derby Nations Committee. So we help all the nations put their voice in to have their say in the World Cup, like when it's hosted, make sure it's safe, especially for like LGBT folk.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we just basically make sure everybody's doing all right. And
that's super exciting.
Help with the eligibility, make sure people are playing by the rules for that sort of thing.
Amazing. I love that there's something like that in place. Fantastic stuff.
But I think we are having a bit of a timeout right now for an injury to Manchester.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the jam was called by the jammer or if for injury, but looks like Manchester have called the team timeout regardless, just to take a moment and just have a break.
That injured skater is up and away, so it must have not been a biggie, just a little bump. Well, we have that team timeout.
Sometimes you can get a hit that just kind of takes the wind out of you.
Oh yeah, had a few of them. But no, the World Cup should be very interesting. I don't know where the men's one is, the MRDA, yet. But hopefully they'll announce that at some point soon. We at the Roller Derby Nations kind of stick with the WFTDA aligned World Cup more, but we have been helping the MRDA to get them up and running after they have got the World Cup now.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, it's I've been lucky enough myself to have announced at 2 women's World Cups. It's an absolutely phenomenal experience, just being any way, shape or form involved or at the event. So if you're interested, folks, at being involved in any way, whether it's as a volunteer, as a commentator, as an official, just going to spectate, if you can, and obviously I appreciate that money is a thing, and to just go, like if it's within your realm of possibility, do it. It's an incredible experience, and 11 out of 10 would recommend.
I believe as well there are volunteer applications open for like general things like track repair, like all the wee odd job type things that is open, as well as I think the tournament crew heads just open for officials.
Yeah. It takes a village. Like you would not believe the amount of people it takes. You think there's a lot that goes into this?
Oh, yeah. See behind the scenes for that tournament organising is phenomenal.
Yeah.
We are back on. We've got Mobius trip for Manchester with the star. Scotty Comet picks up lead already for the Wirral.
Meanwhile, Mobius just sees the tiniest gap along the apex, and he just ran like he stole it. He was like, mine.
Yep. Unfortunately, not able to reach the pack again. Wirral clock them coming round before they could score any points. But the jammers in general have been very clean this half so far. No jammer penalties for Manchester and only 3 for Wirral.
Words were had. Come on, everybody. Let's pull it together.
We're here to skate, not to sit.
Nice. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. So U-turn is lead. Matty is very close behind.
Giving them no space. But calling it on a 0-0 jam, which for Manchester again. And just some love going on track there. That's what we like to see.
Like Matty managed to stop himself, but it was directly behind Scotty Dog, so he just gave him a hug.
Heavy up again for Wirral. Sailor Moob for Manchester. Both not seeming to be on heavy rotation, but when they're on, they're on.
Yeah. Oh, it's on.
Heavy squeezing out the front there. But that strong Wirral wall at the back, not letting Moob out. And ref down.
Very quick recovery.
Very professional.
Yeah. Touch profesh.
Heavy coming back round into that Manchester wall at the front. Held up quite a bit there.
A little bit of a recycle there on Moob.
Taking the star off as they go. Star going all the way back again as Heavy makes another pass. As Wirral are approaching the 200 point mark. They've got 13 minutes left in the half, so they might well reach it.
I think what's quite nice, good, the words that I'm going to go for, to see about Wirral's pack is the kind of the confidence the blockers have in their jammer. Like they're not offering a great deal of offense for the jammers because they're just kind of like, do you know what? You got it. We're just going to stand. We're just going to stand here, but we're going to be here to wreck up their stuff. We believe that you can
do it.
You can deal with your own stuff. We're just going to make their life a problem. You do you, hun. We're going to be their problem, and it's largely working. There's been pockets of offense.
Not overly needed all the time. Yeah. They did have a little star pass there in that last jam. At one point, though, they were told they were not the jammer, so that happened. But it seems they went back and redid the star pass just to get it out, which did then force the call off.
Yes.
Nice to see.
And that double century has been passed 202 to 56 in favour of the pack animals. But Mobius Trip is your lead jammer. However, Scotty Comet is out and he's crossing over at pace.
A lot of falling there, but all legal falling it seems. But no points for either?
No, double donuts.
Sounds good about now.
Yeah, bear with me, yeah. We've got the familiar pairing of Bankai and Matty back on the jammer line. We do have a pack advantage to Manchester, but it doesn't make any difference because it's Bankai mainly, and that's not sort of like speaking any shade about Manchester, but it's Bankai.
Finds those gaps where there's no gaps and just goes, oh, that was a little blocker apex jump there by 817. Whoever that is, shout
Keith
out for that. Oh, go
Ramparts.
Keith.
I'm fairly certain that when people were sending memos about physics, Bankai did not get it.
No.
He was not on the mailing list.
I went, no, not for me. I'll try something different.
I don't believe in physics.
Believes in his own kind of magic. Jam have only got a minute left. I don't think Manchester have managed to get out, and announcers curse as usual.
Oh, not quite.
Oh,
Gig went in for a hug.
so friendly.
You could almost see on Gig's face, sort of like the hand on the shoulder. I'm sorry, my
So
friend.
sorry about that.
Condolences.
But it has been a very sportsmanly game, this one. Everybody seems to be having a really good time. There's no aggro. It's all clean fun.
This is the thing. Like I mentioned earlier about how Tier 2 has been. It's been a year. We've had some rough games, but it's been a really fun year. We didn't host this year. We travelled everywhere. We hit up Newcastle, Manchester, Devon, and South Wales. We travelled a lot from Nottingham. The only game that we didn't play was Birmingham, so our closest game was the game we had off.
Of course, as is the way.
As is the way. But both the Devon game day against Kings and the Wales game day, a bunch of us stayed overnight. We did a bunch of people got a couple of Airbnbs. There was nice kind of team bonding and stuff, and it was really fun. We just had a really nice time, and it's all the teams were super friendly, and the game days were really nice, and they were reasonably well attended, and it was just a good time.
Good vibes.
And it's just been like that. Yeah, good vibes, absolutely. And it's just been a really fun year. The first game day was up in Newcastle. It was part of Tyne and Fear's Big Weekender, which was across 2 days, which fit in games from several different tiers, both MRDA and WFTDA, and some JRDA in there as well. And there was a mixed game. It was all kinds of stuff. It's just been a really great year, and that we're able to be here this weekend to kind of underline it all and be it's all good. Is just really fantastic.
It's always nice when you can do that, go away with your team. Play for both Glasgow Roller Derby and Newtown Roller Derby, and at the start of the year with Newtown we went to the Czech Republic.
Nice.
And we got a couple of guests, so we had a couple of Granite, a couple old Vicky and Lothian skaters come with us, and we went for a long weekend. The game was great, we won, but the best part was just hanging out with each other, being in the hot tub, going around the city, all that good stuff. That's what roller derby is really about. The good vibes.
Yeah, and it's nice to be able to do not roller derby with roller derby friends.
Yeah, so you don't get to do that a lot outside of training. You've got life outside of training, unfortunately. So to be able to be right, we've actually got time to bond as a team, and just to hang out and have no pressure around it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's we hope that you've had great seasons as well, and that you've had the opportunity to kind of take that time to just kind of hang out with your teams and your leagues, and that you've equally had nice times with other teams. And I know that some teams host at their event days have nice food vendors and stuff, and it's just nice things.
Just nice.
Yeah, I got a spider plant when I was at South Wales. Still going, just about. Got that in May. Still alive, I'm amazed.
Better than I could do.
I'm genuinely amazed.
So we're back here after a couple of timeouts. I think there was one after the other there.
Yes.
With Manchester taking a little timeout just before we went back. Wirral with the lead there and another 4 points on the track. So the score is slowly creeping up for them, but Manchester are really starting to hold them. If there was a third half in this, I think we'd see a massive difference, but we've only got 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, the points have definitely slowed down for Manchester, but they have as well for Wirral. There was kind of a bit of a jump, about 10 minutes in, but Manchester have managed to kind of slow it down again.
But we do have Manchester with the lead in Mobius, getting to the pack and calling it. On 1 point, which is great because they have not scored in another 8 jams, so good.
It's a very ebb and flow game.
It'll come all at once or it doesn't at all.
Tidal. Bankai and Matty back on the jam line. Bankai stepping backwards through the pack. That was an interesting choice. I mean, it worked.
Almost kind of Homer Simpson into a bush through it there.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what it looked like. And another apex jump.
Clearance was just, particularly the angle that we had on it here was
phenomenal. And again, no. Ooh.
Going for the outside.
Keeping those blockers on their toes. But a little no pass, no penalty, would it be?
No.
Or are we looking
Denied.
Looking at a cut for Bankai? Not what you want, but definitely what Manchester want. I think that is Matty in on their scoring pass now. Could be wrong.
Chavis Shocker just going, well, if you're all just going to stand around, smash.
Definitely the time for Manchester to be doing that offensive work. And that offence has worked.
There we go. And you're right, that was a scoring pass. Bankai back on track. And I was going to say he's testing the edges and he found them wanting, so he's through already on a scoring pass.
Definitely still scoring. Definitely got those points. I was going to say definitely passed everybody so far.
Yeah.
But just got a little bit held up again. This is a 2-minute jam.
I reckon if he puts a bit on, he might be able to. That's an easy. Well, I say easier through. That's going to be the full 4 for both of them.
16-12, a really big score there for Manchester, up to 69 to Wirral's 234. I think that is possibly one of the second biggest jam for Manchester. They did have a 13-point jam in the first half, but very low scoring comparatively. Got Gig back on the line for Wirral. And Frank Intense for Manchester. But we are in a little timeout right now. Seems to be possibly it was a Kirk official timeout. I don't think it was a team timeout. Nothing flashed. Oh, yeah, 5 seconds, get behind your line.
There we go, yeah. Back it up.
So, work there.
We've got one blocker in the box for
Manchester.
Thank you.
That's the one.
Brain just stopped.
Mine did as well. I was like, oh, who is it? It's that one.
Like, they're even the right colours and everything. I'm just like, nope. No words.
Gig is through for lead. That's their first scoring pass there, with Frank still working their way at the back. I believe the pivot is in the bin though, just coming back on now, so a pass could be happening in the future, or it might not. We'll find out.
It's very possible. Jarvis Shocker is definitely he's definitely up for taking a pass. Definitely seen him take a star pass before. I've seen him jam before. He's a solid jammer.
I mean, if you wear the pivot, then you kind of need to be up for taking it. For a cheeky jam.
I tell you what, I remember back in the day, a lot of teams would just kind of looked at the pivot as sort of the leader on track and the person who would be vocal. It's like, no, and I was always like, but pivot needs to jam.
Yeah, if they run away at some point, then they're not going to be able to help you much.
Yeah. And a lot of teams would fall down at that point.
Frank has the start off. Pivot is at the front, but I think we're getting a penalty. Yep, assessed somewhere. On one of the Wirral blockers. Frank has passed the star now on to Jarvis. 10 seconds left, maybe one cheeky point to come. Even if they do pass one blocker, they will in fact get all four, because all the other blockers, I believe, are in the bin. So that should be 4 for Manchester if my rules knowledge is correct. We're at a 22-point jam there for Wirral, and yep, 4 for Manchester, because I understand how roller derby works sometimes.
We know what we're talking about, sure.
Again, I think we've still got possibly one blocker on track for Wirral. Yep, a very red screen there for you.
Oh no.
But that is
and that's the jammer going off. All by myself.
Mobius does seem to have lead, according to the screen.
It does.
Yeah.
I will work on the assumption that he got reabsorbed.
But out again. Another chance to get some points up over Wirral. Coming in with some offense, some beautiful line work, but calling it on that outside line. No points for Wirral, but 4 for Manchester.
2:05 remaining of the game. Matty and Scotty Comet. Official timeout. Not sure if the penalty box fully emptied. Yeah, it looks like it.
There seems to be 8 blockers and 2 jammers. That seems about right.
The designated requirements.
The amount that we need. Oh, sorry, that was 7 points in that last jam for Manchester.
Very nice. That'll be why the timeout then.
Yeah, get those points.
Double checking the scores.
Matty on for a Chaos Engine. Scotty Comet again for the Wirral. Both caught up in their respective other packs, but that is Scotty out for lead.
Keith Rampart's in the box. Oh, that was very nice.
Sliding through backwards there on that inside line. We're all possibly just going to use this to kill some time. Letting Manchester hit the pack. and score points. There's only under a minute left on the period clock. Might just be running down that time since they are in control of the jam.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they have called it now.
40 seconds left on the lineup clock, so that's almost certainly going to get us another jam.
Okay, with our last matchup being got to take that for Manchester, and that is Bankai. Yes, Bankai up for Wirral.
Now, if he gets lead, do you reckon he's going to pull out another whomping jam for us to close that
The
game?
last one, we've got to. But not before take that.
This is why I said if he gets lead, because you never know what's going to happen.
Good last jam for Manchester so far, with a 4-0 jam possibly. We'll see what the refs make of that.
There we go, 4-0. 4-3.
But
that
still
lead
winning on
was highly effective. And I'm sure he'll appreciate this because he's a Pokemon fan. Bankai utilised Leap, was very effective.
Unofficial score at the moment, and it seems like it's turning to the final.
That is final.
Well, that was a wonderful game. Manchester ending on 89 to the Wirral's 267, but all those points from Manchester very well fought.
Absolutely.
Wirral did not give them easily.
No, and I mean, as you say, like that was a significant differential. But Wirral did definitely have to fight for those. And if I'm not mistaken, we will of course get confirmation for all the relevant things. But my understanding of that is that Wirral pack animals will advance to Tier 2, Five Nations MRDA, and Manchester Roll Derby pack animals. That's not a thing. Manchester Roll Derby Chaos Engine will be demoted to Tier 3 MRDA Five Nations for Five Nations 2025. 2025, that's not right. I have had an absolutely fantastic time.
Been great.
We're aware that there have been some technical issues with the stream. We do apologise if you've been affected by that. You will be able to watch everything back. I know that Real Time Events are working tirelessly to get everything sorted. Hopefully you will be able to watch everything back quite soon. But please know that we are working on everything, and we do really appreciate you bearing with us, and everybody watching at home and just, sticking around.
Yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful, and we'll see you for the next game on this track very soon. I was like, going to bring up my digital schedule. It will be Southern Discomfort versus Kings of Block and Roll, which is the MRD Tier 1 and 2.
Yes, that should also be a fantastic game. Both teams have also had a fantastic season, so it should be really exciting.
Perfect. Well, that's been us. I've been Hazard. Nice to be chatting.
Yeah, I've been Snoogans, and I will continue to be. I'm sure you'll continue to be Hazard.
At some point.
Yeah. Also, kudos to my co-announcer here. This is their first stream announcing, unexpectedly put in at the last second, and I've thoroughly enjoyed working with them.
It's been fabulous.
Thank you so much, folks. We'll catch you soon.
Thank you.